Rebel problem is being faced by both the Congress and the BJP. Will independents spoil the party? While in an exclusive interview to NDTV's Gurpreet, Ambala Kant, independent candidate, has spoken just ahead of the Haryana polls. The All India Congress Committee suspended the Rebel Party leader Chitra Sarwar for 6 years for being involved in anti-party activities. Now she has decided to go independent as a candidate during these elections. Let's listen in to what she has to say.
How election campaign is going on? The first question is how the election campaign is going on. The second question is that you have been campaigning for the Congress, but Congress did not give you a ticket, but you decided to contest as an independent candidate. So both the things, how are going on?
First of all, my campaign, what we expected could turn into a setback, suddenly turned into a strange kind of a fillip. And we had support, we had worked, people of Ambala knew it, and they were desperate for a change. So everybody was kind of looking forward to it. So I will not say I was the only person who was disappointed when this didn't happen. There was a collective disappointment and hurt that went across all party lines in Ambala itself. There are people who are coming to me and saying, Chitra, if you were on a Congress ticket, we were under a bit of a dilemma that we could never have pressed a Congress button. But now that you're an independent, more people from across party lines will support you. So suddenly they said this is probably a blessing in disguise for you. So campaign is picking up, joinings are happening. And yes, we are gearing up now that people are joining us. We tell all our teams also that they're coming at a time of trial. So I believe the competition earlier was also between me and Anil Vijji. Today also it's between me and him. And you said why I didn't give up. It's because when I worked for 10 years, but I didn't do a single thing on my own. If I came out and we questioned Anil Vijji or Bhajpa Sarkar, or we did a pradarshan, or we made a demand, or we struggled for anything, there were so many people who were attached with me. It's very easy for a leader to go back home, sip coffee and probably take off and say, I'm out. But people who are on the ground, who face far more harsher realities, you know, where do they go? You know, in a nutshell,
you thought about your supporters, workers who have been working with you for last 10 years. Last time we had also seen you had contested as an independent candidate, and you were able to get around 44,000 you were able to get. So how do you see this time? Are you sensing the trend that you are gaining, or you have some challenges?
I think I'm gonna gain a lot, and that's because last time 70 par was a nara. Everybody knew BJP Sarkar is coming. Everybody knew that the then health and sports minister is going to be something even bigger. And people didn't speak up. Nobody spoke up that we are with her. Everybody was quiet, and best estimates were she'll get 25,000, max 35,000. When 45,000 came, it was a bit of a surprise for everyone, including us.
And let's just get you the vibe and the mood of the voters in Haryana. Well, my colleague Ankit spoke with the people in Rohtak to know which way are they headed in terms of this election, what's really cooking up in their minds and also on the streets of Rohtak. Let's find out.
In Rohtak, to try and understand what's cooking in the mind of the voters, we thought we'll come for breakfast as well. This is one of the very, very famous, it's a 50-year-old shop here, which is the Delhi Puri Wala, quite famous here in Rohtak. A lot of people come here for breakfast and lunch later. So we thought, why not also try this, enjoy the sumptuous, lovely puris that you can see here, which are being, which are coming out one after another, along with some fresh lassi, and also try and understand what the voters in Rohtak are thinking about, what is cooking in their mind. So let's go inside and we'll get you some interesting, spicy conversation. Come.
आपका क्या नाम है सर? कहाँ से हो आप? मैं भाई साहब नया आवास गांव मेरा, ये गड्डी सापला कलोई।
हुड्डा जी की कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी से?
हाँ बिल्कुल इसी से।
तो क्या हाल है वहाँ पर?
हुड्डा ही हुड्डा और हाल कुछ नहीं।
वहाँ हुड्डा ही हुड्डा है। तो मतलब चेहरे पे ही वोट जा रहा है या उनके काम पे वोट जाता है?
नहीं काम पे ही जा रहा है, काम पे ही जा रहा है भाई साहब।
काम पे जा रहा है। हाँ। अच्छा, और आपका भाई साहब?
रोहतक है, यही प्रॉपर रोहतक से। हाँ।
क्या करते हो सर आप?
कुछ नहीं, ट्रांसपोर्ट का काम है सर।
आप बिजनेसमैन हो, तो बिजनेस के लोगों के लिए ट्रांसपोर्टर्स आप लोगों के लिए कौन सी किसको लिए सोच के
देंगे? हुड्डा साहब को। हाँ बिल्कुल कंफर्म है।
10 साल तो बीजेपी की सरकार थी।
अब आ जाएगी ना हुड्डा साहब की, पहले भी तो हुड्डा साहब की थी।
इससे पहले
10 साल हुड्डा सरकार भी तो थी उससे पहले। हाँ
यहीं से हो आप? रोहतक कहाँ से हो?
जिला रोहतक।
रोहतक से ही हो?
जिला रोहतक है गाँव।
कौन सा गाँव है आपका?
गाँव तो मेरा मैम है।
मैम है? मैम में क्या हाल है?
रहता हूँ मैं सापला।
तो मैम में चुनाव का क्या माहौल बन रहा है?
मैम में कांग्रेस।
कांग्रेस गहरे टक्कर है वहाँ पे बड़ी?
देखो मैं कम जाग रू मैं बाकी रहता हूँ सापला है।
हाँ।
सापला में उड्डा क्लियर है।
सापला में उड्डा क्लियर है। राम राम जी। क्या हाल है आपके? आपके तो अच्छे होनी चाहिए सारे। रोहतक में आपकी पूरी की चर्चा है।
जी सर।
तो क्या सर ऐसा क्या बना के खिला रहे हो आप जो लोग बार बार आते हैं?
बनाने का ढंग है सर ऐसा है, हमारी 60 साल पुरानी दुकान है।
अच्छा।
60 साल से पहले मेरे फादर करते थे,
हाँ जी।
अब हम कर रहे हैं,
हाँ जी।
अब आगे बच्चे करेंगे।
अच्छा, मतलब फैमिली बिजनेस है तो फिर इसलिए आपको तो हुड्डा साहब के बाद दीपेंद्र आए तो उससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है?
मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कोई सरकार आए,
कोई सरकार है?
कोई सरकार आए।
किसका माहौल चल रहा है? लोग आते होंगे यहाँ पे बात करते होंगे।
फाइट बराबर की है जी, बीजेपी और कांग्रेस की फाइट बराबर की है
पूरे राज्य में?
हाँ हाँ
टक्कर की?
हाँ जी,
किसी की बन सकती है?
किसी की भी बन सकती है। थोड़े मार्जिन में ही रहेगा जो कुछ रहेगा।
अच्छा, पर रोहतक कहते हैं हुड्डा जी का गढ़ है तो आपको लग रहा है उस गढ़ में कहीं सेंध लग रही है?
ऐसा तो नहीं है, अब भी पिछली बार हुड्डा साहब के विधायक जीते हुए हैं, जो हैं कांग्रेस के हैं, हमारे बीबी बत्रा जी, वो जीते हुए हैं पहले। तो ये फाइट बराबर है। बाकी पब्लिक का मूड है, पब्लिक किस तरफ जाती है किस तरफ नहीं जाती, जनता का मूड है ये।
तो ये जो आप बनाते हो क्या खास है इसमें? ये क्या चीजें कैसे बनाते हो आप?
मोटा आटा होता है
ये जरा इधर आ जाए हमारे कैमरे पर्सन, उनको दिखा दीजिए कैसे बनती है
ये मोटा आटा पिसवाना पड़ता है हमें।
हाँ।
उसकी ये पूड़ी बनती है।
मोटा आटा जरा हमारे दर्शकों को बता दीजिए क्या होता है मोटा
मोटा
आटा?
आटा मतलब पिसाई करने के लिए जैसे बारीक आटा पिसवाते हैं हम, वैसे मोटा आटा पिसवाना पड़ता है और उसमें उड़द की दाल की फिलिंग करते हैं।
उड़द की दाल की?
हाँ जी।
हाँ जी।
और ये फिर उसको बनाते हैं।
बढ़िया पूरी बनती है गरम गरम
जी।
और सब्जी में क्या डलता है सर? आलू की सब्जी जो आप बनाते हो?
सब्जी में हींग डलती है, 30,000
हाँ।
रुपए किलो हींग है,
हाँ।
वो डालते हैं इसमें। आप खाओगे जब आपको पता चलेगा।
And from poll-bound Haryana to poll-bound Jammu and Kashmir, that goes to polls in a matter of 24 hours from now. It's the second phase of assembly elections to decide the fate of 239 candidates, including former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah. After a 61.1% voter turnout, now 25.78 lakh voters will be casting their vote on the 25th of September. From regional parties, pledges to release jail you to BJP's opposition to restoration of special status. The second phase of campaigning for 26 assembly seats in 6 districts of Jammu and Kashmir. This is with, a huge voter turnout that's expected. Of course, it is Omar Abdullah in the fray, but my colleague Nazir has the details of the other prominent leaders who are also in the fray.
Exactly, around 25,000 lakh people will be deciding the fate of the 26 assembly, on 6 assembly seats. And today, preparations for the polling are underway. Polling staff and security forces are being deployed at their respective places. So it is a prestige battle for all the parties. And who wins this round is expected to win this election or would be the largest party. This is a very, very challenging task, and we have seen intense campaigning, high-pitched campaigning, because the stakes in this phase was very high. Party chiefs of 3 political parties, BJP, National Conference, and the Congress are contesting in this phase. Umar Abdullah is contesting from 2 seats, Badgam and Gandarbal. Tariq Kara of Congress contesting from Central Shaltang in Srinagar, where Rahul Gandhi yesterday campaigned for him. And similarly, BJP's Ravinder Raina is contesting from this Rajouri's district. So this is, as I said, high-stake battle for all the political parties, and we have seen lots of, during the campaigning, there were allegations and counter-allegations, promises and counter-promises, terrorism, reservation, employment, all these, issues became the central to the issue. Regional parties have their own priorities, the national parties have their own agendas and manifestos.
Right, thank you so much, Nazir, for getting us all those details, and all eyes on the second phase of voting that will start early tomorrow morning. Switching tracks now to Andhra Pradesh, and the sale of Tirumala laddus at the temples being run by the TTD across Andhra Pradesh continued as usual. Over the last 4 days, we've seen over 14 lakh laddus that have been sold, and it is the FSSAI that's issued a show cause notice to the ghee supply. We're talking about AR Dairy. A show cause notice has been issued to AR Dairy. The temple authority also has set up a sensory panel which will now evaluate food samples on the parameters of aroma, taste and texture. My colleague Uma has the details.
The fact that there has been no dip in the sale of laddus at Tirupati seems to indicate that the trust, belief, faith and also the respect that people have for the Tirupati laddu has not been affected by the recent controversy that broke out after Chief Minister Siddaramaiah Naidu said that animal fat could have been present in the cow ghee that was used to make the Tirupati laddu. What I must point out is that the government got a report yesterday from the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, and even as the FSSAI, which is the Food Standards Authority of India, had issued notices to the AR Dairy, the vendor whose samples seem to have tested positive for animal fat in the cow ghee. The report given by the TTD says that in the last few months, they noticed, rather when the new government took over, they noticed that there had been multiple complaints of lack of quality, and they then realized that the suppliers were giving low quality cow ghee, and that's why they were given warnings, and they were also threatened that they would be blacklisted in case the quality did not improve. Subsequently, we are told only AR Dairy does not seem to have adhered to the standards, and they had supplied about 8 tankers to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, of which the first 4 tankers, it appears, were used, and the rest of the 4 tankers that came in on the 12th and the 15th of July, samples from there were taken and sent for adulteration testing to NDTV, and subsequently the lab reports seem to indicate that there could be presence of animal fat, including fish tallow, fish oil, beef tallow, as well as lard. Now the notice being issued to this vendor as well, and the Food Safety Authority also issuing the notices to them. On the other hand, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah Naidu has said that all the measures will be taken to reassure the devotees that the sanctity of the temple and of the laddu is being protected in every possible way. Of course, purification rituals also happened yesterday, including a Shanti Homam.
Thank you, Uma, for getting us all those details. We will keep tracking that story. And like Uma was pointing out, that sales and business as usual when it comes to the laddus at the Tirupati temples. We will keep tracking that story. For now, we're stepping into a short break. Back to the whole lot now.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं, ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। आज ही जाइए पैसाबाजार.com पर और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत किसी को भी कभी भी पड़ सकती है।
चल एक्टिंग थोड़ा भेल बनो।
ये आयो भाई पैसाबाजार.com।
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं, ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक करें फ्री में पैसाबाजार.com पर। लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है।
ठीक से एक्टिंग नहीं।
पैसाबाजार.com।
Election sunrise is on the proverbial paradise. Jammu and Kashmir gets set to vote in assembly elections after a gap of 10 years.
For the BJP, it's a referendum on Article 370. For the Congress and regional parties, it's a battle for survival. An election that will go down in the history. Watch the most comprehensive, the most nuanced, and the most power-packed coverage only on NDTV.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Election sunrise is on the proverbial paradise. Jammu and Kashmir gets set to vote in assembly elections after a gap of 10 years.
For the BJP, it's a referendum on Article 370. For the Congress and regional parties, it's a battle for survival. An election that will go down in the history. Watch the most comprehensive, the most nuanced, and the most power-packed coverage only on NDTV.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code.
Let's get you the latest from Karnataka, where security has been beefed up around the residence of the Chief Minister. This is in regard to the verdict that's going to be pronounced by the Karnataka High Court today. Do remember that the Chief Minister had, made a plea in the High Court in regard to the approval. This is the nod that was given to the governor in order to investigate the Chief Minister in the MUDA scam. So security has been beefed up. In fact, the police presence and security has increased in the city in order as far as the sensitive areas in Bengaluru are concerned, in regard to avoid any kind of untoward incident following the verdict that is expected to be announced within half an hour from now. Let's just listen into what H.K. Patil, the Law Minister of Karnataka, had to say.
This is going to make a big political turn.
We're all expecting justice naturally, and I don't think this issue where you're all in anxiety, I'm sure there will be a verdict in favor of Chief Minister, because there is no instance nowhere the Chief Minister has either himself ordered or orally given instructions or wrote anything on the file. When there is no mistake of his, naturally he will get justice.
Sir, as a
So all eyes on that verdict that is expected at 12 o'clock, and it is my colleague Pratibha who has in fact spoken to the RTI activist in this particular case. Let's just listen in, to what has been said in regard to this case. We're talking about the activist, one of the complainants in the MUDA scam. My colleague Pratibha has the details.
We have with us Mr. T.J. Abraham, one of the respondents in the case where we are talking about the MUDA verdict today. Sir, what are your expectations from the verdict today?
It should come in my favor.
And
who will expect something against their self? I'm not basing that on the common expectation that everybody who goes to the court should get a favorable order. No. I'm looking at the steps that I've taken, the procedures that I've followed. Where is the fault? I'm supposed to file a complaint to the police. After some time, I'm supposed to go to the SP with 154.3. I've done that. And then I'm supposed to seek the sanction. They say, why the police are supposed to seek? No, those people who make that, who put forward those arguments, they lack knowledge that this High Court has passed an order last year where the complainant has to go get the private person has to go get the sanction. That is how I approached.
do you also see this as a make or break situation for Mr. Siddaramaiah here?
It's not my concern at all. I am not going to make any political comments on this, because what happens to that? See, my point is to fight corruption. Politics is a different ball game. When I come into that arena, I'll speak about that. That's okay.
What, in case it is a setback for the Chief Minister, what are your next steps after that?
My caveat is there in Delhi. They will go to the Supreme Court and they will file against this order. We will be informed by the court and we will also approach. We will face it there.
Right. And the ultimate destination of your case, where do you want to see it landing?
See, this is a pure case of 14 sites just going without an iota of legal eligibility. You do not have it all yet. You come into the picture in 2004 and your wife is saying this, not me. Your wife in 2014 and 2021, based on which the 14 sites have been given, these two letters, 2014, 2021, both these letters, your wife says the MUDA has taken over the land in 2001. So where the hell were you? Your brother-in-law came into the picture in 2004, yeah? Where was that agricultural land which he bought? Simple, common sense.
All eyes on that verdict that's expected within 20 minutes from now. And switching tracks to Mumbai, Metropolitan Region Development Authority has unveiled a groundbreaking infrastructure plan. This is going to be promising to reshape the future as far as connectivity in the financial capital is concerned. The ambitious Ring Road project aims to create a seamless network of roads, flyovers and tunnels that will connect the bustling city of Mumbai to its sprawling metropolitan region. And this mega infrastructure project is expected to be completed by 2029. And my colleague Radhika spoke with the man behind the master plan.
Mr. Mukherjee, first question, of course, give us a comprehensive overview of this project. What does it entail? Which are the areas that it's going to connect? What is the cost and how is it going to make lives of citizens easier as far as City of Mumbai is concerned?
So MMRDA prepares a comprehensive mobility plan of the entire MMR region. And it is MMRDA's endeavor to ensure that connectivity is smoother, and we are continuously trying to reboot the city of Mumbai, and we are trying to give a proper shape, reshape the area of MMR. And the reason behind this is the enormous economic importance that MMR has. And as we speak, MMR area contributes something like to 4.6% of the national GDP. And even BKC by itself contributes something shy of 3% of the national GDP. So that is the importance of this particular area. Now, the idea is that, pedestrians first. So pedestrians are at the ground level. Cars will have to be at a higher level or at a lower level. Second, public transport. So whatever you do, that should be integrated with the metro network. That is the second thing. Third, environmental sustainability. So you choose the location and the corridor where it is the most easiest to take up the activity.
So if you can briefly explain to us the connectivity.
Yes. So if you look into it, a lot of this work is already ongoing. Like the Mumbai Coastal Road, this is being executed by the BMC. Then you have the, so if you take the island city, the Mumbai Coastal Road is being executed by the BMC. MMRDA is constructing the Worli to Shivdi Sea Link. This connects to the Eastern Freeway and to the MTHL here. And then from the Eastern Freeway, MMRDA is executing this Orange Gate Tunnel as we speak. So this.
Breaking news coming in regard to Mollywood in the MeToo probe. The accused actor Mukesh is being questioned by the SIT. The Special Investigation Team is questioning the actor and the MLA Mukesh that is now being questioned in regard to the case. This is the SIT questioning the actor and the CPM MLA Mukesh in Kochi. The SIT is questioning him, and this is in the sexual harassment case. This after the actor was granted anticipatory bail in that particular case. And we have my colleague Ishika joining us to get us more on this. Ishika, is this routine procedure as far as the questioning by the SIT is concerned, even though the actor has got anticipatory bail?
Well, Divya, if you remember, there were cases of, sexual assault that were filed against actor and MLA Mukesh, in which, in fact, the SIT was, in fact, planning to summon him for interrogation. But at that time, we did see that he had approached the Ernakulam, Principal Sessions Court seeking the anticipatory bail plea. Thus, even the police was, in fact, monitoring this particular case. But when he was given this anticipatory bail by the Ernakulam Principal Session Court, the condition that is very, very important here, Divya, the condition that was mentioned here, that he will have to appear before the investigating officer on any day for the interrogation in this particular case. And thus, now the police, in fact, had called him for questioning, and now the questioning is underway in Ernakulam. The SIT, in fact, is questioning him in, in this particular case that was filed against him by the actor. In fact, by the actor who also, in fact, filed case against several other Mollywood heavyweights. So in that, in that regard of sexual assault case, the questioning is currently underway for MLA Mukesh. Remember, and also which we broke on NDTV here, is that his party, that is also in the government, did not ask for his resignation, even though there was a lot of, protest that we saw on the streets of Kerala. And in fact, there were several excuses that were given by the party saying, that even though there are cases against the Congress MLAs, they have not resigned, then why should Mukesh resign? So all of this only in fact amped up the anger that was there among the public. So now the police in fact is going forward with the case. They are currently, the SIT team that has been formed by the state government is currently questioning the CPM MLA Mukesh, but certainly after this the trouble will mount for MLA Mukesh. Over to you.
Right, as trouble mounts for actor Siddique, as well as the Kerala High Court in fact dismissed the bail application of the actor. So his bail plea, his anticipatory bail has been dismissed by Kerala High Court, and now from Ishika what we are hearing is that he's moved the Supreme Court.
Well, today only, it was a big setback for actor Siddique. He's also a Mollywood heavyweight against whom there were grave charges of rape that were levelled against him. And today the Kerala High Court has in fact dismissed his anticipatory bail plea. Remember that he had in fact approached the Kerala High Court after, calling it nothing but, a conspiracy against him. And also in his petition, he had mentioned that the complainant in this case had made allegations against him even in 2019, but she has in fact changed the details just so that she can get him booked, under non-bailable offences. So this was what, he had mentioned in his petition, but it was a big setback for him. The Kerala High Court has now dismissed that anticipatory bail plea. But what we are getting to know from our sources, Divya, is that now actor Siddique is going to move to Supreme Court. He is certainly waiting for the order copy to come from the High Court, and after that actor Siddique will be moving to Supreme Court. So now certainly this Mollywood MeToo moment that we have been covering, Divya, on NDTV, now it is certainly going to reach the top court. So that will also be very, very important as to now, after the entry of the top court in this, where will this entire, MeToo moment go, in which direction? Because, we have seen that there have been voices from both the sides. Over to you.
Right, Ishika, we will keep tracking that story and coming back to you for more on that. Switching tracks now to Madhya Pradesh and private buses rule as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned. The government bus network almost defunct and no respite from high ticket prices. When will this monopoly really end is the big question. This is in regard to the second biggest state in the country, which does not have, when we talk about the infrastructure, as far as buses are concerned, Madhya Pradesh's private buses, which are, asking for a very high fare, and the commuters are facing major issues when it comes to government buses, which are very few as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned.
तो 5 रुपया हम सीवर से घूम के वापस आ जाते पहले सरकारी बस चलती थी जब
पहले कम था बहुत समय पहले कम था अब बढ़ गया
Bhopal's Nadra bus stand, a constant rush of passengers, be it morning or evening. Though there are only 40 seats in the bus, somehow nearly 70 passengers are crammed in. With no one to check, fares are charged arbitrarily. Bhagwan Das, a resident of Tikamgarh, works in a brick kiln in Bhopal. He travels to his village once a month, but just the travel costs him over 1,000 rupees. He earns 300 rupees a day, barely enough to cover his travel.
बस का किराया 520 रुपया है और हमें जाने में बहुत महीने में 1-2 बार जाते हैं पैसा भी कम कमाते हैं और बहुत दिक्कत आती है।
अच्छा, कितना पैसा कमाते हैं आप?
300-400 रुपए कमाते हैं
दिन का। ठीक है, और कितना किराया है?
520 रुपए।
Man Singh Gaur is a regular on such buses. Travelling from Obedullah Ganj to Sehor, Man Singh recalled how fares were lower when government buses were operational.
5 रुपया हम सीवर से घूम के वापस आ जाते पहले सरकारी बस चलती थी जब अब जो प्राइवेट है तो लूट रही का कैसे जितने समय आ रहे उतने ले रहा है सवारी खूब भर रहा है खड़े होने का जगह नहीं है चलना चाहिए बस है सरकारी बस तो चलना चाहिए.
This situation is not limited to Bhopal. We travelled with passengers from remote areas and heard their struggles firsthand. In 2005, the Madhya Pradesh State Road Transportation Corporation was shut down, citing heavy losses. Though no official gazette notification has been issued till date. Since then, private operators have taken over and continue to violate rules and operate without proper checks. The decision to shut down the Transport Corporation was taken by then CM Babu Lal Gaur. The corporation was said to be running a loss of 756 crore rupees with liabilities amounting to 1,033 crore rupees. With 2 government buses on the roads, private buses operate freely, breaking rules and overloading passengers. Many buses operate without valid permits or fitness checks, even though the state has witnessed several major road accidents. In 2021, 54 people died in a bus accident in Siddhi. In 2023, 13 people were burned alive in a bus accident in Guna. In 2022, 13 people lost their lives in a bus accident in Dhar. Many more were injured in bus accidents in Balaghat, Pandurna and Rajghat. The government is considering restarting the public transport system, but it remains in its early stages.
लंबे समय से हम लोग इस विषय में माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के निर्देश थे, उस पर हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं और मुख्यमंत्री जी का ये मानना है कि अगर संभावना बनती है तो ग्रामीण परिवहन को शुरू किया जाना चाहिए.
Interestingly, many private buses are owned by politicians. A survey shows that more than 50% of buses belong to influential political figures. 50% of the buses are owned by prominent leaders of the BJP and Congress. 68 bus operators are former BJP MLAs and district heads. About 10 major bus operators are linked to the Congress. There are 37,276 buses registered in the Transport Department's records in the state. Of these, 19,000 belong to educational institutions, while the remaining 18,276 are passenger buses, out of which over 9,000 belong to politicians.
The roads of Madhya Pradesh are full of unregulated private buses, leaving the common people to deal with expensive and crowded rides. As government weighs its option, the biggest question remains that when will the public transport return to the roads? With camera person Abhishek Singh from Bhopal, Amritanshi Joshi for NDTV.
Switching tracks now to the United States, and it's Prime Minister Modi's 3-day US visit that's come to an end. And just before wrapping up the visit, the Prime Minister made a big push for peace. He met on the sidelines with the Ukrainian President Zelensky, and this comes a day after he met with the Palestinian President as well in New York. This was the second meeting as far as the two leaders, whether it's the Indian leader or the Ukrainian leader, in about a month's time. Prime Minister Modi had visited Ukraine on the 23rd of August and reiterated India's willingness to contribute in all possible ways to facilitate an early return of peace in the conflict. Now, a joint statement followed the meeting between the two leaders that have gone on to express how mutual interest in working towards elevating bilateral relations from a comprehensive partnership to a strategic partnership in the future. And of course, the Prime Minister has gone on to say that there is no place for war and also reiterating it's time for peace. Listen in.
Success of humanity lies in our collective strength, not in the battlefield. और वैश्विक शांति एवं विकास के लिए ग्लोबल संस्थाओं में रिफॉर्म्स आवश्यक है.
And that's the Prime Minister there reiterating India's willingness to, bring about peace in the conflict when it comes to Ukraine and other areas of the world. With that, we're slipping in a very short break. Back with a whole lot more on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
And gold prices are at an all-time high. We're talking about 76,000 rupees for 10 grams of gold. So this is just ahead of the festive season, which has resulted in the prices going off the charts.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है. तो आज ही पैसाबाजार.com पर जाइए और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है.
बस एक्टिंग करा लो इनसे।
पैसाबाजार.com क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक, आदत अच्छी है।
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पर डिपेंड करता है। आज ही जाइए पैसाबाजार.com पर और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत किसी को भी कभी भी पड़ सकती है।
चल एक्टिंग थोड़ा भेल बनो।
ए आयो भाग बोल। पैसाबाजार.com।
Election sunrise is on the proverbial paradise. Jammu and Kashmir gets set to vote in assembly elections after a gap of 10 years.
For the BJP, it's a referendum on Article 370. For the Congress and regional parties, it's a battle for survival. An election that will go down in the history. Watch the most comprehensive, the most nuanced, and the most power-packed coverage only on NDTV.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One World Hygiene.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV. 8 a.m. every day.
Election sunrises on the proverbial paradise. Jammu and Kashmir gets set to vote in assembly elections after a gap of 10 years.
Good afternoon and welcome. You're watching the 12 o'clock news. I'm Rishika Barua. The big focus story for us is the Karnataka High Court verdict in the MUDA case. We'll get you all the latest action from ground zero. First up, a quick check on the headlines. The Karnataka High Court to pass its verdict in Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's plea challenging the approval granted by the governor to investigate the Chief Minister in the MUDA case. The Mollywood MeToo case, actor Siddiqui's anticipatory bail has been rejected. Sources say the rape-accused actor is now mulling moving the Supreme Court. This as the SIT questions actor and CPIM MLA Mukesh in Kochi. Amid the Tirupati Prasad Rao, sales of the laddus continue as usual. There's been no dip in sale. According to reports, over 14 lakh laddus have been sold in 4 days. This is the FSSAI has issued a show cause notice to the Tirupati ghee supplier. And the big battle for the state of Haryana, NDTV tracks the poll pulse from ground zero. Will rebels play spoil spot for both the Congress and the BJP? NDTV caught up with both Savitri Jindal, who's hit out at the BJP, and Chitra Sarwara, who has jabbed the Congress. Both were denied tickets by the respective parties. Phase 2 of the Jammu and Kashmir polls. Tomorrow, 239 candidates, including Omar Abdullah, in the fray. Well, with the MUDA Scam verdict to be pronounced shortly, the Karnataka state and Bengaluru specifically is now in a state of alert. Senior officers have issued notices to all commissionerates and all district SPs, DCPs to increase vigil, especially in sensitive areas, in case there are any kinds of protests or riots or sit-in protests post the verdict. Notice has also been issued to ensure precautions are taken to avoid any untoward incidents. Anyone protesting is instructed to go to Freedom Park. There has been a notice, of course, for heightened patrolling in several areas as well. The Karnataka High Court, remember, will be pronouncing a verdict today on the petition that has been filed by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah challenging the approval that's been granted by Governor Thawarchand Gehlot to investigate him in the MUDA land allotment case. The Karnataka Chief Minister, remember, is facing prosecution over alleged irregularities related to the alleged scam, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because his wife is also one of the people who is in question over here. Before we get to the details of what is the scam and what are the possible political ramifications of this verdict, and NDTV's Veera Raghav will join us live from Bengaluru to decode that for us. Let's just listen in to what one of the RTI activists, one of the complainants in the MUDA scam, has in fact told my colleague Pratibha.
We have with us Mr. TJ Abraham, one of the respondents in the case where we are talking about the MUDA verdict today. Sir, what are your expectations from the verdict today?
It should come in my favor.
And
who will expect something against their self? I'm not basing that on the common expectation that everybody who goes to the court should get a favorable order. No. I'm looking at the steps that I've taken, the procedures that I've followed. Where is the fault? I'm supposed to file a complaint to the police. After some time, I'm supposed to go to the SP with 154.3. I've done that, and then I'm supposed to seek the sanction. They say why the police are supposed to seek. No, those people who make that who put forward those arguments, they lack knowledge that this High Court has passed an order last year where the complainant has to go get the private person has to go get the sanction. That is how I approached.
Do you also see this as a make or break situation for Mr. Siddaramaiah here?
It's not my concern at all. I am not going to make any political comments on this, because what happens to that? See, my point is to fight corruption. Politics is a different ball game. When I come into that arena, I'll speak about that. That's okay.
What, in case it is a setback for the Chief Minister, what are your next steps after that?
My caveat is there in Delhi. They will go to the Supreme Court and they will file against this order. We will be informed by the court and we will also approach. We will face it there.
Right. And the ultimate destination of your case, where do you want to see it landing?
See, this is a pure case of 14 sites just going without an iota of legal eligibility. You do not have it all yet. You come into the picture in 2004 and your wife is saying this, not me. Your wife in 2014 and 2021, based on which the 14 sites have been given. These two letters, 2014, 2021, both these letters, your wife says the MUDA has taken over the land in 2001. So where the hell were you? Your brother-in-law came into the picture in 2004, yeah? Where was that agricultural land which he bought? Simple, common sense.
And NDTV's Veera Raghav now joins us live from Bengaluru. Before we get into the politics of this, Veera, I also want to very briefly tell our viewers, what is the MUDA scam? What does it really involve? It's essentially got to do with discrepancies in land allotment, and some beneficiaries, allegedly the Chief Minister's wife, got some prime property at inflated value. So therefore, the entire allegation against the Chief Minister is quite grave, because the allegation says that norms were violated in order to allot the higher priced land to the Chief Minister's wife. That verdict is going to come in shortly. We're given to understand the judge is already assembled, Veera. What more can you tell us about this big test for Siddaramaiah?
Nishika, you seem to have explained the case itself in your question, but primarily it's a compensation allotment of land that was given not just to the Chief Minister's wife, several other beneficiaries as well, who have compensation land for land that was acquired by MUDA. The question really is that where was the land given and what was the value of compensation and what loss to the exchequer did it create? When you acquire farmland and you give sites, the entire process seems to have been flawed, and prima facie, the process itself was flawed. But the question that Siddaramaiah has raised is that this was not when I was Chief Minister. The allotment happened when BJP was in power. So that's one part of it. What is this verdict that's going to come today, and why is it extremely important? Look, I think it would be sending a wrong signal to call this the MUDA verdict. This is purely a verdict on whether the governor of the state was legally right in according sanction for prosecution of the Chief Minister when the cabinet, since the Chief Minister had advised the governor that prosecution should not be given for, sanction should not be given for prosecution of the Chief Minister. So the verdict today is on whether the Chief Minister can be prosecuted, A. B, was the governor legally right in according to the sanction? The argument of the Chief Minister and the Chief Minister's counsel, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, is that the governor cannot assume that the cabinet's advice is biased in this case, and the governor ought to be going by the advice of the state cabinet. The argument of the governor is that in 2004 Madhya Pradesh case, the courts have held that if there is a prima facie case, the governor is allowed to sanction prosecution of the public official in concern.
Right.
Look, remember, for prosecution of a public official, Rishika, you need the sanction of the authority capable of dismissing that public official. And in this case, for the chief minister, it is the governor. Hence, this case becomes important. Now, very briefly, Rishika, why is this important? If the case goes against Siddaramaiah in the court, and the court upholds the sanction for prosecution as legal, then it would mean that the chief minister will have to face prosecution. And then the question of moral right to remain in power will come into question. Whether a chief minister who's facing prosecution can remain in power or not. If it goes against him, then he has no prosecution to face.
Yes.
And hence he would have had a big victory and longevity in office.
But, Veera, before we get into merits of the case and what's happening in court, it's very interesting that you talk about the morality on whether or not Siddaramaiah should or shouldn't continue as chief minister if the verdict that's expected to come shortly doesn't go in his favor. In Delhi, for instance, we've had a chief minister who's been running the government, so to speak, via a proxy, as it may be, from the Tihar jail. So that's just a parallel to be drawn. But the question here is that he managed to do so. In the case of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, he managed to do so because he had the support of the Aam Aadmi Party rank and file. In Siddaramaiah's case, while of course, the BJP has trained its guns on the chief minister, does the Congress have its house in order to throw its weight behind the chief minister should the verdict not go in his favor today?
I think it would be unfair at this stage to draw a conjuncture on whether the Congress house in order, because so far the Congress seems to have batted completely behind the chief minister. But yes, you're right. Given Arvind Kejriwal's example, will Siddaramaiah have the same hold over the party? Will there be other dissenting factions which want to aspire for the chief minister's post? Will they start playing out? But I think for the moment, the Congress seems to be united because, look, this is a double-edged battle, right, Rishika? It's also a battle between Raj Bhavan and the state government.
Veera,
how far can the government?
Breaking news that is coming in at the moment. It's a setback for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. The petition of the Chief Minister has in fact been dismissed, which essentially means that the Karnataka High Court has ruled in favor of a probe being conducted against the Chief Minister. So that's the big verdict that is coming in at the moment. Veera, we're given to understand that the Karnataka High Court has said that there can be a probe against the Chief Minister.
I'm still waiting for confirmation on this and the exact details from our reporter Pratibha Raman, who's inside the court. I don't have that categorical confirmation because remember, it's a complex case and one needs to listen very carefully, go through the context of the order, what has been dismissed, if it has been dismissed, the exact details before we arrive at a conclusion on what this really means. So we may have to just hold our horses a bit there, Rishika, till we get clarity. But as you're mentioning,
we have Pratibha sending us these details from inside the court. Veera, we are getting.
So Pratibha has sent this information. That the complaint.
Yes, Pratibha has sent this information, and I'll just tell you very quickly what Pratibha has said. What's happened in court essentially, while dismissing the petition challenging this governor's sanction, the Karnataka High Court has maintained that the complainants were justified in pursuing the complaint and seeking approval at the hands of the governor. So that is essentially a big win for the complainants in this case and a big setback for Siddaramaiah, is it not?
Remember, if this is what is the order, which says that there is no fault found in the governor's actions as far as the order is concerned, which is the message that's come from Pratibha, that the governor did apply his mind in abundance, which is how the court has held, then it would mean that prosecution against Siddaramaiah, which was stayed until this verdict, will resume. Now, this is a huge setback for the chief minister. A, as I mentioned, because the prosecution will go forward. Yes. And B, as you mentioned, what will happen to the internal dynamics and the question of moral authority will come into play. May not immediately, but one will have to see how this plays out in the next coming days. Because just pointing out, Rishika, that the chief minister will also challenge this order in the High Court, just as the petitioners would have challenged it had it gone the other way. And also underlining, this again will become an important order because a High Court is a court of record on the powers of a governor to issue sanction to a chief minister, even when a cabinet advises against such a procedure.
So this is an important precedent. This is an important precedent that the Karnataka High Court has essentially set, because the judge, while delivering this verdict against the chief minister, has said very categorically, and again, this is information that our colleague Pratibha Raman is sending us from inside the courtroom, that under normal circumstances, it is the duty of the governor to act on the advice of the Council of Ministers, but he can take an independent decision in exceptional circumstances. Present case is one such exception.
And just pointing out that the governor's argument before the court was the 2004 Madhya Pradesh Special Police Establishment versus State of Madhya Pradesh case here, where the governor could prima facie act irrespective of what the cabinet advises in this case. Look, the governor versus government, state government battles have been playing out in several states, and this was another crucial question in terms of accordance of sanction for prosecution. One has to wait for more details of the order. We hope to get those from Pratibha, but the initial information that she shared with us from inside the court is that the petition challenging the sanction of prosecution of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in the High Court has been dismissed by the High Court. It's likely that the Chief Minister, in fact, it's almost certain that the Chief Minister and his legal team will challenge this order in the Supreme Court. But it is a blow for Siddaramaiah. Had it gone the other way, the petitioners would have also challenged it. But this would mean that given till the Supreme Court or a higher court intervenes in this matter, the prosecution against Siddaramaiah can proceed.
Okay, in fact, we're given to understand now, Veera, that Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appearing on behalf of the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, also sought an extension of the interim stay. He sought an extension of the interim stay for another 2 weeks, and that is also something that was denied to the judge. So essentially what this means, if I'm not wrong, is that the probe will begin immediately.
No, the prosecution, the FIR, filing of an FIR, the legal prosecution process against the Chief Minister will begin till the Supreme Court or till they get legal redressal to this measure from the High Court. It is quite, one would expect that a stay would not have been granted by the High Court if it has dismissed the petition overall. And the order seems categorical. Obviously, as I'm mentioning again here, Rishika, one has to wait for the context and the details of the order. But from what Pratibha has reported to us, the High Court has held that the governor did apply his mind in abundance and no fault found in the governor's actions as far as the order of August 1st is concerned, which gave sanction to prosecution of the Chief Minister. The petition was filed by the Chief Minister, remember, challenging that order on the 19th of August, and the High Court has dismissed that petition challenging the governor's order. So which means prosecution can go ahead against the Chief Minister. We'll have to wait for Pratibha Raman to come out of the court to give us more details if we can join her.
Right. In fact, we are hoping to get Pratibha live in just a moment from now, Veera, but I also want to tell you we're getting live shots of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as he attends an event. It's the inauguration of a Mobility Exposition 2024, I'm told. Live visuals of the Chief Minister addressing an event in Bengaluru that are in fact coming in at the moment. But you know, an important point that was made, Veera, about the fact that this is essentially a judgment that not just has consequences for the Chief Minister himself, but also about the future of the government in Karnataka. How does this now play out politically? What are you picking up?
Look, with 135 plus MLAs and with the kind of majority that the Karnataka government enjoys, I think the Congress itself would seem extremely confident at the moment. However, this is a blow. How Siddaramaiah reacts to this, what the next stages are, how the Congress party reacts to it. So far, the entire cabinet has been united behind the Chief Minister, claiming this is an entire political witch hunt against him and that there was no illegalities or wrongdoings on his part. This has been the public stand taken by the entire Congress leadership in the state and the center. Now, post this, will there be a question mark over that? How will the internal dynamics of the Congress play? Because it is an open secret that there are leaders in the Congress party who have publicly and privately expressed their desire to occupy the post of Chief Minister. So far, of course, most senior leaders have said the post of Chief Minister is not vacant. Siddaramaiah has remained firm and strong as far as his position is concerned. I believe we can go across to Pratibha as well, who's just joining us from outside the High Court.
Yes, Pratibha, tell us what happened in court. Break it down for us.
Well, in fact, it was a quick presentation of the judge there, who was present sharp at 12 noon, and he began to narrate the facts and the findings as far as this case is concerned. He spoke about how the governor did apply his mind. In fact, the application of mind was in abundance, was one of the observations that was made by the judge there. He also went on to talk about how this petition that has been put forth by the Chief Minister challenging the permission for prosecution needs a definite investigation, and also spoke about how the governor can act independently as far as this particular case is concerned. The order does not suffer from non-application of mind. The facts narrated in the petition needs investigation, and hence the petition stands dismissed. Mr. Singhvi, representing the Chief Minister, did ask for extension in terms of the interim stay that was given as far as the jurisdictional courts are concerned, where it was a definite relief for the Chief Minister then. And he sought an extension for about 2 weeks, which was denied by the judge. And he said that by 2:30, this order would be put forth at the court's website, and soon after which the jurisdictional courts will be acting on this. The complainants or the respondents who did first approach the court, as well as the police and the governor, in terms of seeking investigation in the MUDA allegations, all of them are right now sub judice, and those will also continue as far as the jurisdictional courts are concerned. Now, the key question is what would be the counter strategy of the Congress government? Back to
Right. Pratibha, also, yes, Veera, go ahead.
Rishika, sorry, I just wanted to point out here that with this verdict, the political fallout, I think, is something that needs to be focused on at the moment. You had reported just now, and Pratibha has reported, that there were several measures taken by authorities to ensure that there was no gathering or no protest that was allowed post this verdict. They were taking several measures. But Pratibha, from what you're gathering, the Chief Minister's the Chief Minister, other Congress leaders, what are you picking up? Obviously, they were anticipating it. Obviously, they're bound to move to the Supreme Court, move the Supreme Court on this case. But interim, do you believe that the dissenting factions in the Congress party, which had openly vied or eyed the post of Chief Minister, do you see them striking now? Or do you believe that they're going to remain united till there is more clarity on this case from the Supreme Court?
Well, there is definitely going to be a counter strategy playing out by the Chief Minister. In fact, like you pointed out, Veera,
All right,
yes,
I'm going to interrupt you, Pratibha, for just a moment, because we're getting a live reaction from the petitioner. Let's just listen in. Do stay with us.
I'll leave the field to my counsel to speak.
How do you see this order?
See, I think we can move there, right? Yeah.
Okay. So how do you see this order?
The writ petition. Okay. The writ petition challenging the order of approval passed by His Excellency the Honorable Governor of Karnataka has been dismissed, and the summary of the judgment would be that the facts envisaged in the complaint would undoubtedly warrant investigation, firstly, and secondly, the act.
Yes, sir. Your first reaction after the verdict.
See, the summary that we have heard now is